How you guys doing? This is Mr. Hunt. Hope you guys had a wonderful Memorial Day. It's still hot out and burning up in this house. I need my AC on, but here we go. Now, today we're going to talk about patterns and describing patterns in your data. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to some people. I want to give a shout out to Asia Ahmed for winning the quiz contest on mean, mode, and median. So Asia, I'm going to contact you tomorrow and ask you for your address so I can send you your gift card, your McDonald's gift card, for winning that. You had the highest score. You actually had a perfect score, which was the highest score. You had 100% accuracy. Rael was in second place. Christian Gates was in third place. Ava was in fourth place, and Marissa was in fifth place, and Calvin was also in sixth place with Brenda. Okay, all right. So here we go. We're looking at today patterns. We're going to be describing patterns in data by identifying the gaps, the clusters, the peaks, and the symmetry. Some of these words you probably heard before, but now we're going to use them we're going to use them and see how they relate to statistical data. So let's look at it here. Think about it. When we display data, we're looking at the distribution, or how the data is spread out. How is this data spread out? When we describe data distribution, we look for key patterns. Here are the 4 key patterns you will be looking for today in your data. The peaks. What's the highest points in the data? What's the highest parts of the data? You can have more than one peak. The gaps are intervals that contain no data, okay? Clusters. Data that are grouped closely together. Where's the clusters of data? You can have more than one peak, more than one gap, and more than one cluster. Symmetry. The left side of the distribution looks very similar to the right side, okay? So those are the 4 things you're looking for: the peaks, the gaps, the clusters, and the symmetry. So let's look at this. It says describe any patterns in the following data and histogram. So looking at this data, first of all, where are my peaks? I would say my peaks are right here. I have a peak at 6. I have more fish caught that were 6 inches right here at 6. And I have a peak also here. Here's another peak at 12. So I have 3 fishes that were caught that were 12 inches. I have 3 over here. So the peaks, I would say, are at 6 and 12. Those are the highest points in my data, okay? The highest part of the display. Next, the gaps. I would say that there is no data display between numbers 8 and 10. So the gap is between 8 and 10, okay? That's where there's gaps in my data. Gaps are the intervals that contain no data, okay? The clusters. Where's my data clustered at? Where clustered the majority of my data clustered at? In this case, you have 2 clusters. Why? Because a lot of your data is right here between 6 and 7, and a lot of your data is right here between 11 and 14. 11 and 14, okay? So the clusters are between 5 and 7. I'm giving an interval 5 through 7 and 11 through 14, okay? Symmetry. If you were to draw a line down the center of your data, with the right side of your data almost looks familiar or similar, similar to the left side. Looking at this, there's only one bit of information that's kind of out that does not make the left side look like the right side. That little bit right there. Other than that, this left side matches this right side perfectly. 2 dots here, 2 dots there. 3 dots here, three fish were caught that was 6 inches here. 3 were caught 12. You have 1 and 1. So I would say, for my part, I would say that this is symmetric. There's only one bit of data that's out. Other than that, the rest of the left side looks similar to the range. The left side looks similar to the right side. So here we go. Looking at this, you have it. Peaks, 6 and 12. Gaps, 8 through 10. Clusters, 5 through 7 and 11 through 14. And this, is it symmetric or non-symmetric? It's symmetric, okay? So your assignment will be on Google Classroom. I'm going to do a couple more, though, before you get to that. I'm going to go right here. Let's do this one first. Here we go. First of all, it says describe any patterns in the following dot plot. So we have a dot plot. We're going to look at this dot plot. We're going to look at how our data is distributed. Looking at this, do I have any peaks? Yeah, I would say 30. At 30, there's a high point. Now, if you want to say 30 and 32, I would accept that. But I mean 31. At 31, there's a high point. Let me erase this. This should be 31. At 31, there's a high point, okay? And if you would say 31 and 30, 31 and 32, I would accept that. But 31 pretty much has the highest point. Okay, now gaps. There's no data here at 21. There's no data here at 25. So I would say a gap is at 21 and comma, a gap is at 25. No data there. Gaps is where you have no data. Bam. Okay, now clusters. For this one, the majority of my data is clustered in one place. Yes, I have data over here on the left-hand side, but it's not as much as I have right here. The majority of my data is right there compared to I don't have as many dots over here as I have right here in this big circle here. So I would say my cluster of data is between 26 and 33. That's where the majority of my data is, right there. 26 through 33. 26 through 33. Is it symmetric? Well, let's go straight down the center. Does the left side match the right side? Not at all. This is non-symmetrical, okay? Non-symmetrical. No symmetry or non-symmetrical, okay? Bam. Okay, let's do one more. Describe any patterns in the data. Well, let's look at this. Do I have a peak? Yes, I have a peak at 1. Do I have any gaps? Yeah, you have no data here between 5 and 6. 5 through 6, no data. You can say 5, 6 or 5 through 6. Now, clusters. The majority of my data look like it's clustered right there between 1 and 4. Here's the majority of my data right there. 1 through 4. That's where my biggest cluster is, 1 through 4. Okay? Symmetry. If I go straight down the center, does the left side look like the right side? No, this is non-symmetrical. All right? So your assignment will be in Google Classroom. You have 12 to 16 problems to do. You're going to describe your data to me. You're going to tell me if you see any of these patterns. Do you see peaks? Where are they? Do you see gaps? Do you see clusters? Is it symmetrical? Okay, so that will be your assignment. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I love statistics. It's one of my favorite subjects. So your assignment will be about, I believe, 12 to 16 problems for you to look at and describe the distribution of your data. You're looking at the distribution. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again. I will be teaching live at 12 p.m. tomorrow. 12 p.m. we'll be doing some problems on IXL. I've been really enjoying it. I've been having a lot of students join me on IXL. So don't miss out on 12 p.m. on Zoom. Call into Zoom, or you can actually log into Zoom, okay? All right. You guys have a wonderful evening. I hope you guys enjoyed your Memorial Day, but be safe this week, okay? It's going to be hot out, but still be safe. All right. Miss you guys. All right. God bless. Bye.